once a week, if not more, right now, just with all the crazy things going on in my life. I figure that's the minimum, but I would like to do more whenever I do have time. The point of this live stream is to look back on my last predictions, which have been more or less accurate. I'm very proud of myself, I have to say. Pat on the back. And of course, continue on what's going to happen in the future. Maybe mention a couple of my favorite crypto, favorite altcoins, why I like those, and the two I mentioned in the last video, XVG, Verge, and Bitcoin Cash. Let's check in how those are doing, and maybe I'll mention one or two more. We'll see. Okay, so we are going through, unless you're living under a rock, you will know that we're going through a kind of a final retest here. And by the way, I have to keep an eye on my coffee, which I am making. Looks like it's ready. Okay, turn that off. Yeah, so we're going through a final retest in Bitcoin. Again, most of the alts. We just, in the last few hours, really, we've had a nice wick to the downside, and a lot of that already got bought back up. Of course, things are still on the lower end, but I'm saying from that wick, there was a pretty decent buyback. Okay. Now, to look back on and I'll get into what I think is going to happen in the next couple weeks. Here's a hint, it'll be good. Okay. But first, let's look back on in my last video, or it's actually the last couple videos, I've been saying, hey, and that was when Bitcoin, before it ran up to 97K, in the local high, Bitcoin was in the low 90s, maybe even in the low 80s from a couple weeks ago, or not low, sorry, high 80s. And I said, hey, take off this coffee. I said, hey, look, we are going up. We have been in extreme fear for so long. It's been grinding on the bottom here. Literally everyone who wanted to sell has already sold. There's not really much more downside, even for the manipulators. They don't even get much out of it because everyone who was scared and didn't believe it and said, oh, crypto is going, or we're going to go into a bear market, it's going to go low, all that shit, those people already got out for the most part. So at this point, with everyone so depressed and afraid and, looking at buying gold at all-time highs and just, or not following the markets just because they gave up, all those people are going to FOMO back in as Bitcoin breaks 100K. And we're not there yet, but we got really close. Remember, I predicted this when we were in the 80s and then the low 90s, and we ran up to 97K. And that's actually exactly what I said. I said we would get either just under 100K or over 100K. And now that we did get under, it was at 97. Hey, by the way, whoever's here new, like and subscribe, appreciate it. Really helps the channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm saying, or a thumbs down if you don't like it. You can feel free to talk shit about me. It's all good. That's what a live stream is all about. Just, here, just shooting from the hip. So, okay. So where was I? Right. So we got that run up to just under 100K. It was at 97 and change. Now we're getting a little pullback retest, which is very healthy and normal. And by the way, for those of you, if you've heard of these, kind of the new moon, full moon patterns that definitely are more than a coincidence. I'm not some kind of astrologer myself, but I mean, it's literally no one can deny whether you believe in astrology or, the cycles, having markets affected by, let's say, by lunar movements, okay, or the sun or the star. Whether you believe it or not, just look at a chart. You can go to TradingView because it's kind of become a popular thing. TradingView, just look up new moon, full moon, like Bitcoin, type in something like that, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And what do you know? We just hit a new moon. Was it today or yesterday or something? Right? What a surprise. We had our little drop retest, okay? And that means we pump typically into the full moon or right after, around a full moon. And that's going to be in a few weeks from now, in the beginning of February, okay? So what I'm saying is, so now I'm getting to my next prediction. So far, everything is gone according to plan. Bitcoin has pumped up close to 100K. It's getting that pullback retest. It's not even that big, actually, just a few percent. In Bitcoin terms, it's not much. And that means that now the full moon is coming up in, let's say, 3 weeks or so. Again, early February, maybe it's February 1st. I don't know the exact date. But that means we're going to get our local kind of high pump. And I think it's going to break 100. So here's my prediction. It's going to break 107K. It's 107K. It's going to break 100K, maybe 107K, we'll see. But at least it'll break 100K. And that'll get everyone, psychological number. Oh my God, oh, it's 100K. We're going to the moon. This is a, final call, last call, blah, 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 blah. And whenever you hear last call, it's always time to sell because people always say that shit when it's like the worst time. Okay, so we're going to get there, and then we're probably going to have another drop again. I'm not going to predict how low because that's just a guessing game, but that would be a great, what I'm saying is, for me, non-financial advice, what I'm doing myself is I'm really excited for the next few weeks. We're finally going to break 100K, most likely, in Bitcoin. That should bring the alts up with it. And then I am really looking forward to taking a little bit off the table. Obviously not selling long-term bags, but I've talked on this channel about having crypto loans. They've been really helpful in a lot of ways, just for paying life expenses or letting myself squeeze a little more juice out of the fruit when I have a good feeling of the market direction. It's also been stressful too, because loans by their nature are leveraged positions. Even though they're low leverage, I'm really looking forward to paying some of those loans off, which I'm planning on doing when we break 100K, let's say by in early February. Okay, so that's the short term. And to reiterate from also in my past videos, a little bit more like medium, if you want to call it longer term, even just from this year, we will go much, much higher. And I said this in my last video, I still stick by this. We're going to go much higher, at least by early summer. But the local high seems to be coming up probably in February, would be my guess, when we break 100K. I'm not going to guess exactly. Maybe it goes, like I said, 107K, 102K, maybe 110, maybe even up to what I don't see it going past 115K. It probably won't even go that high, but at least in the hundreds. That's kind of my best prediction. And that would be a great time if you just want to like play a little bit of a swing trade, or you just need cash to like pay living expenses. You want to take a little bit of risk off the table. That would be an amazing time to do it. That's what I'm doing. Really, really, really looking forward to doing that. By the way, thanks for watching, everyone who's here. Feel free to comment if you have any questions while I'm live streaming this. Just drop your comments or questions in, and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. Short term, breaking 100K next few weeks. Then I'm going to see another pullback. And then much later in, let's say, by, I don't know how the spring will be. I think maybe March can be down, April, and maybe we start going up, but, chop. And then really the exciting shit comes, like the real, oh my God, we're actually getting rich. Doge is going to break $1, XRP, maybe to $10, give or take, or more, $12, all that crazy stuff. That's going to happen in the summer. So just kind of, that's what I'm doing, is I'm making my plan around this. Short term, I'm going to be paying back paying back a lot of loans, and, whatever, just taking what I need for living expenses, maybe a little bit of a trading bag, just holding some stable coins so I can buy back on this dip, which I think will happen, later in February or March, right? That's what I'm doing. And then really just riding that rocket to the moon in let's say June, July, August, something like that. Okay, that's the plan. Now, as a specific altcoins, my picks, looking back on the last two I said in my video, or my previous video, Bitcoin Cash and XVG. Now, Bitcoin Cash, that's always, it's like XRP in the sense that it always goes a lot slower than you think. Bitcoin Cash will do nothing, or it like makes very slow and steady steps up, but still not get exciting. And then one day it does like that. And we haven't had that moment yet, so Bitcoin Cash has still been kind of boring, but it hasn't gone down much. I mean, last video it was in the like low 600s, and now it's at like whatever 590, or give or take. So really it hasn't been doing much, but it's hanging in there. It's just building support, building strength for its next move up, which I believe will coincide with this Bitcoin back to like 100K and above. Then I would imagine Bitcoin Cash breaking out. I don't know by how much, but also that would be a great time to sell Bitcoin Cash if that happens, when maybe we get to like at least back to the upper 600s, if not the 700s. I'd see that as a pretty conservative call, maybe even 800. But definitely, I would say if we get in the 700s, I'm definitely going to be taking some Bitcoin Cash off the table just for a short-term thing. Again, like everything, we're going to go much higher in the longer term. And now Verge. That has been holding up really, really well, I'm proud to say. It's obviously as a small cap, it's volatile, it has these wicks, like it just wicked down with this to coincide with this Bitcoin mini crash we've had in the last, whatever, 12 hours or something. But from that wick, now it's up higher, much higher than a lot of the other alts in terms of its percentages. So Verge is still hanging it, still really strong, and that bodes well for, let's say, at least kind of short, medium term, that it should, when something holds strength, especially in with volatility like we've had with Bitcoin, with most alts being a little bit below where they were before, and Verge being above, shows it's a really good sign. Verge is going to go much fucking higher. So I'm really excited for Verge. I wouldn't like dump if you don't already have a position. I wouldn't like go ape shit into it now when it's been, it would have been better, I don't know, like a week ago. But it hasn't. What I'm saying is it's not too late. It hasn't really broken out yet. It's just been holding really strong. Above the point is like 0.006 or whatever, 6 something. Now it's like 0.068. So it's been holding really strong, and yeah, and I would not be surprised at all if Verge like doubled, to coincide with this Bitcoin move above 100K, and that's pretty good in a few weeks. So I could see it going 100%, maybe more, at least on a wick, maybe more. Being more conservative, I could see it at least going 50% up, 60%, 70%. So conservative, that's a relative term again in crypto. So yeah, I'm really excited about my little Verge bag, and yeah, Bitcoin Cash, like I said, it's just going slow, but it has some of the best fundamentals of any altcoin out there, in my opinion. Just from, yeah, all right, I'm not going to start a whole Bitcoin Cash rant, but it's boring, it's conservative, but sometimes those are the best plays to be in, at least for now. Like Monero, I mean, you guys probably just saw, if you're watching the charts, Monero is almost, okay, yes, it's a privacy coin, so that's not Bitcoin Cash, it's not a privacy coin, although it does actually have privacy optional features, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, Monero, out of nowhere, just pumped. I would not buy it now at all. I'd be selling it, actually, taking a little off the table. But Monero and Bitcoin Cash, I mean, they're both like OG, kind of like, let's say, larger cap coins that have been around for many, many years. And so in that sense, and they're, yeah, they have a large community around them, a large following, and yeah. So Bitcoin Cash is just overdue to have a really exciting pump. Is all I'm saying, bottom line. So we've been live streaming for over 13 minutes now. Again, everyone who's been watching this, really, really appreciate your support. Means the world to me. Feel free to like and subscribe. Really helps the channel and the algorithm, all that, whatever the YouTubers are supposed to say. It helps. So if you want to help me out, I just do this out of the kindness of my heart. It's not monetized in any way. I just love ranting about crypto. So before I end this video, I'll mention one more altcoin. I mean, there's a lot like, right now with this little pullback, a lot that are on sale on discount, and they're all, at least, let's say the top, most altcoins, let's say in the top 100 or 200, or for the most part, will be much higher as in the next few weeks as Bitcoin goes up. So you could almost throw a dart at a board. But that said, I'm still going to give you one more pick that I like. If you want to be, again, these times, no one wants to take huge risks, and I mentioned Verge is like a kind of a slightly higher risk one because it's a lower cap. But yeah, if you want to like a lower risk, you really just I want to try to say something. I've talked about Stellar Lumens before. I've talked about Doge because those are the first two I thought of, and those are great too. But let me mention a new one here. How about that I haven't really talked about much on the channel? How about okay, here we go. This is what I want to mention, and I'm going to mention these kind of as a basket. If you notice, just in the last, I would say week, maybe in a few days even, out of nowhere, gaming coins have been so low, so depressed, so like everyone has completely given up on them. We had a little bit of a gaming coin pump led by Axie Infinity, just out of nowhere. And this kind of shit happens when we're starting to, get out of the bear markets. And it looks like from that pump, the gaming coins finally did find their low. So that's my prediction. And I wouldn't go, I was going to say too far out on the risk curve, but I mean, all gaming coins are risky. In a sense, they're a lot lower, especially now. They're much lower market cap just because they've been so depressing and they've lost so much of their value. But with that pump, I would look at these OG gaming coins, and I still have a bag. I mean, sure, I'm down. I'm not ashamed to admit it, although I'm not happy about it. Like I have the OG gaming coins. I have some Axie. I have Mana. So those are my largest gaming coin positions. Axie Infinity, AXS, Mana, MANA. Mana is like actually the original metaverse, the first metaverse coin, and GALA, GALA. So those are all very established gaming coins. They have been obviously super depressing in the last year, especially last few months of just, they've been terrible. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to, there's no sugarcoating it, but it looks like at least the worst is over with. And, with high risk comes high reward. So when we do have, at least like later in this year, when we have this crazy alt season pump, where Bitcoin may be hitting, it's going to be hitting an all-time high, and all the other cryptos are going crazy. Maybe gaming coins have their real big move a little bit later, because gaming usually moves towards the end of a bull cycle. After everything else, like after larger caps have had their moves. So this is after XRP has done its thing. It's at $10 and beyond, and maybe Litecoin is at a couple $100, and whatever, Doge is breaking $1 and all that stuff. Then people look, okay, where's the next big thing? Then gaming, I think, will fucking explode. So that's this year. So this isn't like a get rich quick tomorrow type of thing. But if you really want a really nice reward yes, it's technically high risk because it's a gaming coin. It could go to zero. But I'm talking about ones that are established, that have been around for many, many years. Like the three I just mentioned, GALA, Axie, Mana, and then you could also put Sandbox is in the same category. It came around pretty close to when Mana came out, maybe slightly after, but I mean they kind of run together. Sand and Mana usually run side by side because they're kind of seen as like the two OG metaverse coins, Sandbox and Mana. So those right there, those are some great picks. GALA 2, GALA again. Those should do really, really well when we get later into the bull cycle. I would say, again, let's say later in the summer, at the very least. Okay, so those are my picks for kind of like, let's call it medium term if you want. But in the shorter term, if you just want to be super safe and conservative, there's nothing wrong with just going into like the top 20 altcoins. Again, said Doge, XLM. Again, I like Bitcoin Cash. Just XRP. You can Avalanche is another favorite of mine. Just go down the list there. All right, guys. So it's really exciting. We're just in this like final. If you have any cash, this is what I'm doing. If you have any cash laying on the sidelines, look through your pockets for loose change. Digitally speaking, of course. I got $20 in this bank account. I don't really need whatever it is. Throw into XRP. That is my non-financial advice for the day. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I am going to head out, drink my coffee, get my day started, and I'm going to look at the charts one last time to see if there's anything exciting that I want to throw my loose change, so to speak, into, because the next few weeks we should be much, much higher than we are now. And then I'm really excited to sell. I'm already excited to sell in early February. So let's say first week of February. That's when we're going to be selling. So we'll see if I'm right? But I think it's much more likely that I am. We're going to come back to this in the next few weeks. We'll be checking in. And that's it. Peace out. Have an awesome day. Comment below if you have any questions that come up. I'm always checking the comments. I'm happy to answer them in my free Discord. I haven't been super active there, but I'm going to start going back to that again. So you can also ask me questions, take part in conversations there. We all learn from each other, and I'm going to put the link in this description. That's it, guys. Have a good one. Crypto's going to get exciting again. really, really, I think today or tomorrow, if not today, it's definitely tomorrow. I think we already hit the local low just on that wick, but that's the last thing I'll say. But it could be, tomorrow, maybe it carries with the new moon, carries over into one day after or something. But after that, later this week, we had it back up again, and then into early February, breaking 100K of Bitcoin. And then the alts should also do really, really well with that. Okay? All right. Coffee time. See you guys.